Man, me and my monkey pal Momo were just sailing down the Nile River when I looked at my compass and I saw something strange. My compass said we were going north. We were just floating with the current of the Nile. So then I thought, aren't we supposed to be on a ball like this? Isn't this what's happening? We're moving upwards. Water is flowing upwards on a ball. So I ask myself, how is this possible? And I want the best answers. So I go onto Google and I see this. Rivers always flow downhill. It's a common misconception that something about the earth forces most rivers to flow south. Yeah, 'cause isn't south downhill on a ball, right? So already they're at a bad start. And then they go on to say, plenty of rivers flow north, including the Nile, which gathers from high elevation lakes in the African Rift Valley. So I think you didn't explain at all why the Nile River flows north. You just explained how rivers work, right? Water gathers in high elevation and then they flow down the river. That's just how a river works on a flat earth. Hmm. I mean, you didn't even mention the ball that you live on. Shouldn't that come into effect? So immediately, they have no answers. So I go to my friend Momo, who believes in magic, and he says it must be magic. But I didn't like that answer from Momo. I knew it wasn't magic. So then I created a little graphic so I could understand this better. I found the length, the distance of the Nile River, and I found it to be 4,258 miles running upstream, going north against the ball. So we know it's going north. We know the distance of the river is 4,258 miles. But now we need to find the apex. Because doesn't the ball have a curve, ladies and gentlemen? Doesn't it? Doesn't that mean that the Nile River would have to run uphill? And then I think, maybe Momo's right. Maybe it is magic on the globe. So I hit up my friend Dan Pratt, right? He's gonna find the apex for us. Take a look.
The Nile, from start to end, is 4,258 miles. Okay, you with me so far, Momo? Okay, now let's find the apex. The apex means the highest point, Momo. Okay? So that means the highest point on that arc, the curve of the earth that you admit it flows on, Momo, would be at 29 miles. 2,129 miles, Momo. Now, let's do some math and figure out what the elevation from here to this point is, Momo. Okay? 2129 squared comes out to 4.5 million miles, Momo. 8 inches per mile squared, Momo. So 2129 squared comes out to just over 4.5 million miles. We multiply that by 8 inches, Momo, comes to just over 36 million miles. Then we got to convert it to, or 36 million inches, excuse me. Then we got to convert it to feet, Momo. So we divide by 12 comes to 3.6 million feet, just over, roughly. And then we divide by 5280 to convert it to miles, Momo, which comes to 572 miles of elevation over half of the Nile, from the apex to the end, or the apex to the start.
All right, thank you, Dan. So now we got the apex at 572 miles. This is a long ass river. 4,258 miles worth of river. That's going over a large portion of the curvature of the earth. That means it has to be inclining at some point, right? If we can find the apex, which is 572 miles. I mean, isn't the water moving uphill, going north? Isn't this what's happening? I mean, already, this doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. Already, it doesn't make sense. So that's an impossibility. Water climbing 527 miles in altitude. I mean, how does it do it? I don't know. I didn't know water could do that. Is this magical water in the Nile? Remember the Smithsonian thing I saw that I read? The supposable answer. It said, gathers from high elevation lakes. High elevation. Okay. So let's see where the primary source of the Nile is. Let's see how tall that is. Let's see what altitude that is. Oh, it's only 8,858 feet. Now, how is that little bit of altitude supposed to climb 572 miles of Earth's curvature? What is that? That's not even, that's not, like, are you kidding me? The globe is so impossible. I mean, I was gonna make a joke video about this, but I'm actually realizing how fucking insane the globe is. Are you serious? And that's not all, folks. I'm not even close to being done. That's only one impossibility. So now we look at the equator because it's in the north hemisphere. Remember, we live on a globe. Look at this globe that you think you live on. The Nile River flows north from the equator. Okay, let's visualize that. This is making no sense whatsoever. So, so the gravitational pull has nothing to do with the water moving uphill 572 miles. In fact, it's hindering its process. It's slowing it down, if anything. I mean, shouldn't gravity pull the water back towards it, towards the center? Why, why is it flowing forward, north, to the North Pole? Does that make sense? No, no, that doesn't make sense at all. So I'm calling BS on the entire globe because the Nile River apparently flows north above the equator, climbing 572 miles of Earth's curvature, and it defies gravity. What the